Hi there. Is the sound alright then? How are we doing with the sound now? Is it better than the last one? I started again just now. All right, Constance, flat fact. Okay, great, good to know. All right, yeah, sorry about that. I was in mid-flow. That was but thanks for everyone pointing out that something was seriously wrong with the sound just now. So brilliant, good to know it's all right. Yeah. Okay, great. Understandable if people are not coming in because we'd already done a couple of hours. So I'm just playing another track that I made many years ago. Let's just listen to that for a bit. Let's see if a few more people come in. This is a track called Lord of Universal Rhythm. 8 minutes, that long? Oh man. Ah, sorry, I had no idea because on the OBS it looked fine, but it was obviously a connection problem. Shit. So, okay, mate. Constance, understandable. Yeah. All right. Well, hopefully the mic's not playing up now. So yeah, thanks for coming back, whoever's back. And yeah, it's already been a couple of hours, so I'm getting a bit hoarse myself. Tilster! All right. Yeah, thank you, by the way, for your super chat just now. Much appreciated. Thank you very much. Brilliant. Okay, good to know. Yeah. It was obviously with the sound out. I was dealing with a lot of issues there. So let's get back into this guy here because we were just going over this video here and take it from there. Yeah.
Shape of Earth. 6. The Antarctic ice wall. What they say. Antarctica is not a continent but a giant ice wall surrounding the flat Earth and holding the oceans in. Scientific counterpoint. Antarctica is well studied and mapped. Many expeditions have gone inland, and the ice wall idea comes from old flat Earth maps. 7. Sun and moon move, not Earth. What they say. The sun and moon rotate above the Earth like spotlights, not around it. Scientific counterpoint. This doesn't explain seasons, time zones, or the lunar eclipse.
All right. Okay. So yeah, another common fallacy. He's saying, thank you, Constance. Okay. He's saying what did he say? He said the flat Earth doesn't explain seasons. Zetetic astronomy, which is how a lot of us were introduced to this, does explain the seasons. You got a sun, going at different heights and speeds maybe throughout the year. Is the sun doing a circle? Who knows? Is it doing a figure of 8? Who knows? This is not something that we can really know for sure what's actually happening up there. But again, that's a fallacy to say that it doesn't fit with the flat Earth. Looking at the sun, pointing at the sun, we know that this is just a symptom of the globe Earth belief, right? Yeah, and that's how that model was contrived, the globe model. Not because they measured Earth, because they pointed at the sun. Yeah, so again, this whoever made this video has done nothing in the way of research. So total misrepresentation as usual. Eon Monk. We sheeple can be easily programmed to believe dumb things that are not true, but it can be hard to convince us otherwise. Yeah, very true, very true. Yeah, that goes for anything, doesn't it? Yeah, goes for any kind of thing that we strongly believe in. Yeah, I mean, there are people who have reached, a great example is someone who's reached immense wealth or something like that, and then they realise that it's not all that it was cracked up to be. Yeah, okay, good point, flat fact. Yes, we can. The sun, moon and stars are on a cycle. That cycle is the view from Earth looking up. That's true. But of course we do look sideways, and that can be explained as we've already talked about with perspective, and the same reason that the clouds appear to be on the horizon. Yeah. So Constance B, all we know is from our point of view, whatever is claimed about a view from outer space is highly questionable. Exactly, yeah, it's all about imaginary reference frames, right? Yeah. Yeah, the northern hemisphere. Yeah. Hi, Justin. Okay, it's good to see a whole bunch of different people coming in now. So that's good. I shall carry on for a bit. It's harder to convince someone they have been lied to than to convince them of a lie. Who has actually said that? I can't remember. I know it's a well pushed comment. It's well publicized. But I know it was some well-known psychologist. Yeah, it was true. Yeah. Disney imaginations, yeah. I worked at Disney once for a while. Didn't last long. It's crazy. And that is a cult. I'll tell you, Disney, or working at Disney is a cult. You have to be a very special person if you... you can't remember either, Justin. Yeah, it'll come to me, I'm sure, or one of us. But yeah, my experience with Disney was weird. I worked at... it was called Euro Disney then. Now it's called Disneyland Paris, I think. Yeah, and it is a cult because they really do want you to adopt their mindset, and it goes, it's like what they call backstage. If you're backstage, basically where the public can't see you, then there are all these like slogans and stuff, posters. Mickey Mouse, Goofy, and all these characters giving you these life tips and stuff. It's just the guest is king and all that kind of stuff. So it is a cult. Eon Monk, the moon and the sun are the same size, with one being a lesser light, and that one lesser light can easily be observed to not be revolving, but we believe it is revolving. Yeah, that's one of those things, isn't it? It wasn't until I got into flat Earth that I really started looking at the moon and seeing all these things, and the apparent rotation from that point of view that we have. Yeah, sounds riveting. Yeah, it was. It was mental. Yeah, and the food they served was horrible for the staff. I got some kind of blood poisoning from that. Had to go to the doctor. Yeah, it was not good. Yeah, very cultish. Yeah, apparently, Walt Disney was the only person allowed to have a moustache. If you work for Disney, you're not allowed to have a moustache. Obviously, we're talking about the people that are in front of the public. Yeah, you're not allowed to have a moustache or a beard. Walt Disney was the only one that was allowed to have one. Yeah, excuse me. Anyway, let's go carry on with this guy.
Globe model accurately predicts all celestial movements. 8.
The globe model accurately predicts all celestial movements. Yeah. Yeah, definitely, Chilster. It is a chain around your neck. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, this whole thing about the globe model, it's a complete reversal of the truth, right? Yes, we can make predictions, and it's because of the fact that we can make predictions, because nothing changes, because Polaris stays in the same place, because we can follow the seasons, yeah, because we can predict what the sun will do, what the stars will do, what the moon will do, is how they've managed to formulate this model using geometry by just, assuming that it's a path around the sun every year, yeah. And so, they say the globe model predicts. It's like, no, the sky predicts. And then people make models out of that data, out of those predictions. Yeah, and you can make any model you want. And we know that. You can make a geocentric model. Yeah, but we also know that it's a model based on perspective. Yet here we are. Hello, I take it you've never been out deep sea fishing. I have, actually. I owned an offshore fishing boat for years. At about 9 or 10 miles out, I always lost complete sight of land. Yeah, well, of course, because how high is the land? I have been deep sea fishing several times, yeah, and actually I will also tell you that yet here we are. For example, if I go to the beach, Kamala Beach on Phuket, right, and I'm just standing on the beach, there are boats out there at night, yeah, where they have lights on the boats because they're fishing for squid and things like that, and they are attracted by the lights. Okay, so what you can't actually see the lights, well, you can sometimes, but a lot of them are beyond the horizon, but you can see the lights shining up onto the clouds. They're quite low clouds often, yeah, so the lights are there, and if you gain height, then you can see the lights. Okay, so when you are on a boat and you're just a few feet above the surface, then your view is going to be obstructed by everything that's in front of you. Okay, that includes all the waves. Yeah, when you get into the water, okay, if you are in the water or just above it, then those waves will cut off everything. So a meter high wave in front of you will cut off land that might be 100 meters high, but it appears so much smaller in the distance because it's further away. So it will cut it off. Yeah, it will cut off lighthouses. This is not because of curvature. This is simply because of our perspective and the fact that, yes, actually, the apparent distance to the horizon is conformal with that. And the thing is, what you've got to understand is the globe is based off, or the geometry of the globe model is actually based on perspective being described in terms of geometry. So predominantly it's this dome of perspective, yeah, because we're not actually seeing a dome. This is again a fallacy about the flat earth. There isn't necessarily a dome. It's all like it's like a corridor, an endless corridor, but eventually, based on your height above the surface, the horizon will be either short or long in front of you, but either way that horizon is going to be at your eye level or appear at your eye level. So yes, there's no denying that you will lose sight of land. And why is that? Is because the surface, the air above you is very dense. Yeah, the waves, the surface moving up and down, and you can do this yourself. You can test this yourself, and I've tested it many times myself, because no surface on the earth is completely smooth. It's all rugged. So the moment that that surface becomes distorted, whether it's a bump in the road or a dip or a bit of stone or a wave, yeah, then that will, it would appear to bend the light. And in the same way that we can't see very far if we're low to the surface, microwaves will not travel very far across the just above the surface of water. Microwaves travel in a straight line, but if you put the microwave transmitter close to the surface, it won't go very far because it is disrupted by everything above the surface. Yeah, so again, do not assume that just because something gets blocked off, it's going down some imaginary curve. And again, it comes back to that point that the glober will make the argument, well, it looks locally flat because the earth is so big. But then they'll also say, well, I see boats getting cut off a few miles in front of me, or I see land getting cut off a few miles in front of me because of curvature. Well, if that's the case, if you're claiming that it's curvature, which it isn't, in front of you, then what about that same curvature off to the side? Again, stop compartmentalizing these things. Stop assuming that something is happening because of something you've been told to fit with a globe Earth model. Yeah? Elon Musk, I am glad the truth will stand at the end of the day, though. Yes. Constance B, and you love to impose yourself and degrade others to feel great and mighty. Lesai. Oh, Eon Monk says, we are all made to know the truth, but the children are malnutritioned with the lies of this world. Oh, that's very poetic, Eon. Yeah, but darkly poetic. Oh, Coles, spring. Yeah, I'm a 50-year-old man with a fair share of life experience. I presume you're a globe believer, Mr. Coles or Miss Coles. Yeah. And yeah, I just look at reality, accept it for what it is. Yeah. So, yeah, I said it's like an endless corridor, because basically you look across a level surface, you look down a flat level corridor, and the surface will appear to rise, and the ceiling will appear to come down, right? That's what happens. That's how we see the world. Now just open that out, and the sky and the surface are parallel. How far they actually go on, I don't know, but we cannot see for infinity. You will, of course, assume that we can see stars millions and billions and trillions of miles away, or light years away. That's ridiculous to assume that. Yeah? Justin Johnson, all about division. Yes. Oken, hello. Or Quen, what's that? Q Ken? Ice will have portals. We are on the prison planet. Maybe. Who knows? It would be nice to go exploring. Justin Johnson, Rising Earth is brought to you by the same people who bring you the globe. It has the same connotations, doesn't it? Yeah, because there's no direct measurement. It's all assumptions based on some aspects of physics that are kind of true, but then assuming that that applies to everything when it can't be measured directly. Yeah. Eon, when you see concentrated hotspot on the clouds right below the sun. Yeah, this again is like that. That's the thing. The sun behaves like a reflection, just as we see a reflection across the water coming towards us. But someone over the way there will see a reflection going towards them. So are we actually looking at something that is being reflected? What is the sun? Is it really a circle there or a sphere of light? We don't know. Yeah, we just don't know. So I'll carry on with this debunking this chap here. Hang on.
No observable curvature from high-altitude balloons. What they say, even at 120, 0 feet, amateur balloons show a flat horizon. Scientific counterpoint. Curvature is subtle and depends on camera lens type and altitude. Wide-angle lenses can distort curvature visually. 9. NASA lies.
Okay, so yeah, I mean, that was a weird. Again, this is someone who's put very little effort into their video. So he says the scientific counterpoint is that wide-angle lenses and stuff will cause distortion. Well, that's what the flat earthers keep telling you. Yeah, when you see curvature from however high up you go through some kind of camera lens, it's usually because it's a fisheye lens. But actually, it doesn't matter how high you go, you never see curvature. Yeah, so oh, thank you, Constance. Yeah, it's like what I mean. He's just made a non-argument. He's kind of used a flat Earth argument to defend the globe. So rather than saying, oh well, actually there is a measure of curvature, or you can see curvature, and here is an example of it, he just goes on about lenses, which is like, yeah, we know that. Yeah. In fact, it's one of the first things we started looking into, isn't it? We started, you see the jump, the Red Bull jump, and you see the footage from here or there, or you see the ISS footage, and then you try and you compare it to how it should be, and it's like, no, that's just lens distortion. That's just art, or that's a projection. It's not real. It doesn't fit with reality. Yeah. So Q Ken, the sun reflects on water is impossible on a globe. Yeah, that's true as well, Q Ken. Yeah. I've got I would love to bring one up, but if you catch the sun, if you catch that sun reflection on a wave, you will see the reflection curving on that wave. But if you look across the water, as far as you can see, it's a flat surface, yeah, and it wouldn't happen. Yeah. V. Thomas, an accelerometer drop test, anyone? What was it going to prove? Yeah. What does happen to an accelerometer? I suppose it just... It's like... It's not moving, right? It doesn't detect any acceleration, right? That's true as well, Justin. There would be a specular highlight on the moon if it was spherical as well. Yeah, good point. All right. So yeah, I mean, after this is it. The video I'm looking at is just a week or so old. It's got thousands of views. Yeah, and of course, it's just as usual. It's someone who's just gone and created an AI video on the flat Earth bandwagon. Yeah, repeating the same stuff they've been told without doing any research, any investigation. I mean, that's one terrible thing about YouTube these days, or not just YouTube, but social media in general, or just how easy it is to create something that doesn't actually involve any research at all. Yeah, and they'll just keep repeating this stuff, and they'll get shown all that. Yeah, so I'm just making sure the chat's showing. How many phones have you broken? Not by doing any tests like that. All right, let's go back to this guy.
Space is fake. What they say. NASA fakes space missions using CGI, harnesses, and green screens. We've never been to space or the moon. Scientific counterpoint. Thousands of engineers, scientists, and international agencies would have to collaborate to maintain this hoax.
Right, usual appealing to authority fallacy, right? He says thousands of people would have to be in on it. No, this is it. I mean, again, you look at what Wolfie was coming out with, this pilot who's been badgering flat earthers for a decade now, and all you can come up with is a plastic globe and contradictory statements about what's supposed to be happening, the Earth spinning beneath you and flight plans, and not a single measurement of curvature. All right, so there's all these people that just believe it, yeah, and again, something like NASA is just compartmentalized, yeah. So someone makes a rover, someone makes something that can scoop up dirt. Did it really go to Mars? Sure, some scientists made some stuff. Some scientists made a rocket. Some scientists made all the stuff that you need, but it's all compartmentalized, and they all just believe it. So yeah, it's really easy to fake it, and the reason people say space is fake is because of that simple understanding of real physics, where you cannot have a pressurized system next to a vacuum, where they claim space is a vacuum. Well, they also claim that there's a bunch of dark matter out there, or dark energy, and they don't know what it is, and this is like 50% of whatever's going on up there. Yeah, but physically we know that you cannot create that pressurized system without a barrier, right? So that's why we say space is fake, because the way they tell us that space must be a vacuum to allow for all the things to move through it freely with perpetual motion without any resistance, it has to be a vacuum. But there are other things that can do just as good a job, such as is it helium, liquid helium? I can't remember if it's liquid helium or hydrogen. It's non-viscous, right? You can send things through it, so it acts in the same way. Yeah. So the reason we say space is fake is because it's physically impossible on their thing, on their premise. What's that, V Thomas? How many Coke bottles have you broken? My bending and my warping, yeah. Okay. Eon Monk, we have to make a lot of false presuppositions to end up living on the outside surface of a spinning ball, floating and wobbling around. Yeah, this is it. I mean, all it takes, isn't it? It's just that understanding that it started with this heliocentric idea, and it was built on top of that. So the globe becomes this part of the model, which is essential, right? Yeah. So yet here we are. What point are you trying to make? Understanding is freedom, Nick. Maybe you can try and clarify your point. Yet here we are. Not sure what you mean. That's right, Richard Archer. You can tell it's real because it looks so fake. Yeah. You see, yet we are here. I think the point you're trying to make is that you have to understand all these different aspects of the heliocentric model, and you have to agree with them. And yes, outwardly they would appear to fit together, because we can explain things with gravity, and we can talk about mass or space-time bending, and we can talk about these predictions that you can make. Understanding all these other things. I mean, we all understand the model. We know the heliocentric model, but we know that it doesn't fit with reality. That's the thing. Yeah. Gabrielle Grafton, why do things go down? Why are things here in the first place? Don't know. Yeah. But we know that things go down when they are more dense than the environment that they are surrounded by. And they go up when they are less dense. That's all we know. But that doesn't mean that I'm claiming that up and down is due to density and buoyancy. Yeah, don't get stuck on that fallacy. Yeah, all I'm saying is all we can do, and we can demonstrate this. You can demonstrate this as I did many, many years ago. Put an egg in water and it will sink. Add salt to the water, so you change the density of the medium and the egg will float. Okay, so you actually affected things there. You made a difference. But is that the be all and end all of it? No, because okay, the water is in a container, and what's outside the container? I had to put some, where did the egg come from? It's endless, right? It's absolutely endless. Oh, Chelsea, you're hearing that Dell's live. Oh, okay. Well, it's been a while. All right. Well, I'm sure a lot of people might want to go off and listen to Dell. I know he's always got something to say. feel free to stick with me. Feel free to go and see Dell. I'm just going to carry on with this little thing here. When we get to the end of that, that's probably it, because then it'll be about 3 hours by then. So, all right, V Thomas, BTIC is live. All right, okay. Well, he's that's good for him. It's nice. It'd be nice to hear what Dell's got to say these days. But I'm going to go through this, if you don't mind. Finish this one off.
The evidence for space travel is overwhelming. 10. No one has ever traveled all the way around the Earth from the North Pole to the South Pole and back. People have only gone east-west, not over the poles in a full circle, which wouldn't be possible on a flat Earth. Scientific counterpoint. Numerous polar circumnavigations have occurred, including by aircraft and ships, fully documented.
Again, that's a totally false statement. He says people have been all around. No, they haven't. No one's done this, and it's never been documented. No one's done it. Yeah, even when you know, what was it? One more orbit. They didn't go around. They didn't carry on. No one's ever carried on. Okay, but you know, like FPV Angel, you could also argue that people actually don't go all the way around east to west. Yeah, people might follow what they call a great circle route, but they're not going the whole circle. No one ever goes the whole circle. No one. Yeah, the great circle is just, you know, when people go, they're just following a latitude line or a longitude line. Yeah, yeah, it's not fully documented, is it? Flat fact. Yeah, where exactly? Yeah, produce your proof. Yeah, and even if it was, is that something that you can validate or verify with your own experience? Of course it isn't. Yeah, so yeah, this is it. This is where we are right now. We've got people making idiotic, unfounded, false claims, claiming to have documents, claiming to cite things which they can't cite, and this guy's he's obviously just used AI to put this together anyway. Yeah, so let's just a little bit more of this nonsense.
Top 10 claims flat earthers use to support their theory. 1. NASA lie, the North Pole to the South Pole and back. People have only gone east-west.
Yeah, that was pretty much it. So yeah, we went through his I think that was 10 points. Yeah, so not a single measurement, the usual stuff. Yeah, so this is what we're up against, and we've got to keep going. Yeah, it's not only about determining the shape of the Earth, it's about discerning between belief and religion and reality and what we can really experience. So for me personally, I'm going to stick to that, you know, what Buddha said. Believe nothing. Yeah, even if you heard it from whoever you admire. Yeah, if they've got nothing to back it up with, if they've got no measurements, no facts, yeah, then okay, you can accept it as a theory, and that's about it. Yeah, Eon Monk, sorry, awesome points of truth, bro. Thank you very much. That's very kind of you. Thank you. Yeah, V Thomas, I'm only as far as level water. You. Constance B, if Captain Cook did what they say, the antics is the containment, but England Royal Societies refuse to let common man read complete logs. Ah, right. Yeah. Again, the whole story of Captain Cook. I mean, people were navigating. This is it. It's just a story. It's being constructed. Of course, if there was a reset, these people knew about it. Yeah, they knew that they could get back to those places. Sorry, I'm just gonna get rid of that. Yeah. So yeah, Eon Monk. Satellites are real, but physical nouns do not float in the sky like that. Yeah, again, you know, a satellite is just the word, isn't it? It's the word satellite. It could be a balloon, it could be anything. It'd just be, yeah, something light could be put up there, and it might well get whisked around in the winds or the ether or whatever it is going on up there, the electromagnetic stream. Yeah. This is it. You know, when people talk, it's funny when people talk about, you know, hurricanes or winds going in opposite directions either side of the equator. I mean, this is just like that's not a proof that the globe is the Earth is a globe, or it's moving, it's spinning. You can create, this is what's called the Fibonacci circles or spirals. Yeah, it's just like when an aircraft goes through the air and disturbs it, you get these swirls on either side of the wing. So it's perfectly logical to assume that the sun moving across the sky and it being a local light would disturb things and send things off in different directions. Yeah. Just in that sense, it makes sense if you can bring these other aspects of it together. This is it. You have to abandon everything that is to do with the globe model, because it's all presupposition. It's all one thing building off another that was never ever proven or measured in the first place. Yeah, it's just descriptions that have been designed to fit with the narrative. Yeah, that's right, Justin. No globe proof ever. Twinkly lights. Yeah, Justin, prove a unicorn while we're at it. Exactly. Flat fact, Starlink satellites don't have lights. Yeah, I mean, okay, you can see these strings of things. I mean, I looked up the other day yesterday I saw something going across the sky. In fact, I've seen all sorts going across the sky. Couldn't say what they really are, though, or how far away they really are. And it doesn't prove that they're going around a globe. You just see them going across the sky. Yeah. Yeah, Monk, that's right. It's a fact they put up internet satellites in the sky by using balloons. Sounds silly, but it's true. It does sound silly, doesn't it? But that's how NASA started it. Echo 1 was a balloon, and that stayed up for months, apparently, and they were able to bounce signals off it. It was this reflective surface, right? So, yeah, I mean, no one's denying that can be done. I mean, when people... what is it? These radio people, they talk about bouncing signal off the moon. They may or may not be able to do that. I doubt it. Yeah. But that would indicate that it's a local thing, and it's a lot closer than 250,000 miles away. Bernie J, what's wrong with it being a globe? Why is that such a problem? Because the Earth is not a globe. Yeah? It's not, is it? There's no measure of curvature. Water doesn't bend, it flows. Yeah? Reality tells you that Earth is not a spinning globe. Yeah? Whether you're using the sun or the moon to talk about it, whether you're actually looking at reality itself, whether you're actually looking at real physics, yeah? It's wrong. It goes against everything that we experience. It goes against our real world experience. That's what's wrong with believing that you're living on a spinning globe. Yeah, because it just denies reality. It takes you away from reality. It tells you to believe in something that has never ever been proven, has never been scientifically validated. That's why it's wrong, Bernie J. V. Thomas, balloons don't move that fast, though. Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, but then again, I'll always remember that, going on one of my recent flights to the UK, it was one of those very large aircraft, the A380, and they go a little bit higher. And the pilot, when we landed, he said, we've been battling 400-mile-an-hour winds. Yeah, so this is it. They get up to a part of the atmoplane, or whatever you want to call it. They're in a part of the sky where the winds are ferocious. They might be very calm, but you can have winds that are going hundreds of miles an hour. So I don't know what's really going on up there. And maybe they do get to a point where it's just whizzing around. I don't know. Justin Johnson, 95% of all communications are ground towers and fibre optics, not satellites. Yeah, most of the time, yeah. Yet here we are, says all you have is feelings, no proof. No, we have proof in the physics of water. Everyday physics, every day, every single thing around you is proof. Water is level and a horizontal level, yeah? And actually it's the globers that have the feelings. It's the globers that will come in and say, oh, you know, you're this, you're that, you're dumb, you're stupid, you don't get it, you don't understand it. It's like, yeah, we do, we get it, and we've examined it and we've studied it, and it doesn't fit with reality. Yeah. So this is it. The whole point, yet we are here, is to get away. Remove yourself from the feelings. Yeah, remove yourself from the attachment to the belief. This is all about discerning between knowledge, reality, and belief. Yeah. Okay. And yes, you can have feelings about it, because when you realize that we are in a place that is intelligently designed, and we realize that we have a purpose, and we realize this is a very stark realization that we are solely responsible for our thoughts, our beliefs, and our actions. And when you look back on the past, and you look back at the terrible things you might have done. We've all done terrible things. We've all got skeletons in the closet. We've all done things based on belief. We've all done things based on impulse. We've all made terrible mistakes along the way. Yeah? And of course, there are always feelings and emotions attached to those. And the whole thing about truth seeking is accepting and realizing that you did things because you believed them. You believed certain things. Yeah. And so the thing is, and I can show you things, you know, chats where, or comments or emails where people have been very, very nasty. It's the globe believers that come back at you with all these ad hominem attacks and this bulverism we were talking about earlier. Yeah. That's their feelings getting in the way of actually studying reality and accepting reality as we experience it and as we measure it. So actually, the Earth is demonstrably, measurably level. Aviation proves it. Engineering proves it. Surveying proves it. Yeah. But when you come to talk to a glober and say, "Give me a measurement of the curvature, give me a measurement of the spin," that's when they go on the attack and the feelings come in, because all of a sudden you're asking for proof. You're asking for science, the science that they say they believe in, because it's not science. Yes, Justin, the globe is to hide creation and our significance. Yeah. Eon Monk, as far as we can tell, we live on continental plains with MTS and valleys, mountains and valleys surrounded by level seas, with water above and water below. In truth, we live in a medium. Yeah, that's a good way of putting it, Eon. I like that. Yeah. Bernie J. There you go. I'm just going to bring up this. Bernie J. Thank you. I really appreciate you giving us a really good example of bulverism. You see, you've, instead of coming up with a scientific measurement, instead of saying, yeah, actually, we've got a measurement of curvature here, or, oh, you're right, actually, that no one's ever measured curvature on the surface of the Earth. What you do instead, Bernie J, is you come up with this bulverism, where you say, you suffer from delusion, disorder. I suspect you have a medical history. Yeah? Yeah, that's all you've got. That's all any of you have got. None of you have got any actual science. None of you, I asked for a direct measurement, can't provide one. All you've got is indirect measurements and assumptions based on presuppositions and models that you were taught since you were a kid. Yeah, so, you know, we understand that that is the delusion. Yeah. And you're probably thinking, I believe that the Earth is a disk with an ice wall flying through space. No. All I'm doing, Bernie J, and yet here we are, is saying, hey, I would happily go back to believing I live on a globe if one of you people that believes that all scientists all over the world believe we live on a globe, can actually come up with some actual bloody science instead of just thought experiments. We can all do that. We can all have thought experiments. It's fun. Yeah? That's all you got to do. Come up with the curvature. Not talk about day and night, seasons. Yeah? Imaginary curvature, ships getting cut off. These are all indirect. Where did they get the globe belief from in the first place? Where did it come from? Yeah, it should have, if it was scientific, it should have come from a measure of curvature. That's the first thing. That would have been the fundamental, the foundation of the globe earth belief. Would have been, oh, look, there's curvature. Not, let's imagine that the earth is another planet up there with all the others orbiting the sun, and make a model 500 years ago when all they could ever do was, yeah. So yet here we are, and Bernie J, I'll tell you what, you think level is curved? Show me the difference between horizontal level and curved level in reality. Show me, demonstrate it. Go ahead, prove your point. Prove that I'm delusional for assuming that the earth is level because that's how it's measured and experienced. And I'm stupid for not believing that water bends round a curve. I'll tell you what, can you show me the difference between the curve of the earth and a drop in elevation? Can you show me that? Can you demonstrate that, Bernie J? And yet here we are. Can any of you do that? Can any of you come up with any science? Yes, Justin, that's right. Science has been hijacked, just like everything else that can be, to control a narrative. Yet here we are. You have not shown me any measurements. You are lying. You are a liar. What measurements? No one has measured any curvature. You can calculate it. I can tell you that if you travel 10 miles in a horizontal direction, then you should have according to the globe model, the globe predicts that you will have a drop of, what is it, 60 feet? 10 miles, 60 feet? No one's ever measured that drop. No one's ever measured any curvature. Ever. All right? So you have not shown any measurements to anyone. So there's nothing for me to believe or deny. Yeah? You have to believe that you're on a spinning ball because of what? Because of the sun? Because of horizons? You haven't shown a measurement. Do you understand the difference between a measurement and a calculation? Yeah? Yet here we are telling me I don't want to see it. I would love to see it. I would love to see the curve of the earth. I would love to see a measurement. And I have said over and over and over again, I would happily go back to believing that we live on a globe if someone can produce a way of actually measuring. But you look back at the last videos we did, yeah? You look back at the so-called final experiments, now plural because they realized that they didn't prove anything in the first place, yeah? All any of you have got are this bulverism, claiming this about my emotions or claiming that about my beliefs, which I'm trying not to have, yeah? Claiming that I don't want to see things. I don't see any curvature, but I do see that horizons are something that is not related to any kind of geometric curvature of the surface of the earth whatsoever. Horizons are created in our eyes. Yeah? Again, yet here we are. The difference is I understand science. You apparently don't. Piss off. You're just making a statement out of your own emotion. Yeah? Where is there a scientific, direct, empirical measurement of curvature? Tell me. Where is there a direct empirical measurement of the radius of the globe Earth? Where is it? Yeah? You're claiming that I don't understand the difference. I could draw a circle. I could get a circle and I can draw a circumference. And I can say, oh, if I draw a circle with this circumference, it must have this radius. I can calculate that. But it doesn't mean the Earth becomes a circle. It doesn't mean the Earth has a radius just because you can calculate it. Yeah? Where? Where is there a direct measurement of curvature? Where is this bendy water you believe in? Yeah? Where is it? Yes, you are correct, yet here we are. Science does not care about your emotions, and all you're doing is repeating what you've heard from people like Neil deGrasse Tyson. Yeah? The only reason I get emotional is because people like yourself cannot discern between belief and reality. And here you are telling me, you don't understand, you don't know science. I know science. Yeah? Go on then. If you know science, tell me how to measure curvature. Tell us. Go on. Tell us in one sentence how to make a direct measurement of curvature. I've already told you how to do it. Travel in a straight line for 10 miles and measure that drop that should be, according to the globe prediction, 60 odd feet. 10 miles, 60-foot drop. Anywhere on Earth. Go on. Bernie J says weather satellites. No, they don't. Bernie J. Before 500 years ago, when Copernicus came up with the model, apparently, there weren't any satellites, there weren't any aircraft. Okay? So where did they get this presumption that the Earth is a globe? Where is that measure of curvature on the surface of the Earth? Where is it? And if you actually go and look it up, you can do it on Wikipedia. Go and look up Copernicus on Wikipedia. You had to make a whole bunch of assumptions. The entire heliocentric model is a bunch of assumptions. Not a single measurement. And then Bernie J says, you don't have a motive for this conspiracy. What do you mean? People, what we understand is that people will believe all sorts of things. How many, you go pick a whole bunch of people, pick 100 people, ask them what they believe in. You might get 100 different answers, but then you might get 50% of them saying, I believe in this. A lot of them might say they believe in the globe. You ask them why. Oh, because science says so. Well, okay. Who measured the curvature of the Earth? Oh, Eratosthenes stuck some sticks in the sand, measured shadows. The motive, people have a motive because people feel a desperate need to have a belief. People are motivated by all sorts of things, but most of it is to have some kind of belief or reassurance that there's something that I can say is how I'm here or why I'm here. Because otherwise, you do feel very lost. It's very frightening to realize that actually you don't know where we are, and nobody knows where we are. No one's an authority on it. There are no messiahs. Yeah. The fact is we see people lying. We see people making contradictions. We see people saying things that cannot be proven in any scientific way. And you can only believe that you live on a spinning globe because it's never been directly measured. Do you, Bernie J, have the balls to admit that actually no one has ever measured any curvature and you only believe it. I can admit that I don't know the true shape of the earth. I don't know the true dimensions. I don't know where we are. I don't know if we're going around the sun. I don't know what the sun is. I don't know what the stars are. I don't know what the moon is, really. I don't know how it got there. And I'm fine with that. Q-Ken, is nuclear a big fraud too? At least it doesn't work as they say. Atom is. Yeah, again, atoms. Have you ever, has anyone ever actually seen an atom? Has anyone actually seen an electron? Yeah, does it really work the way we're told? Yeah. Constance B, so accept that we do not see things the same way as you do and move on. Elon Musk, what? You've done that deliberately. Debunk the that Eratosthenes with the fact sun rays are crepuscular rays, divergent. Yeah, Kuken Atom was a cartoon figure in the 60s. Yet here we are. No, I am not. Yet here we are again. You're doing this Bolverism. No, not everyone is a liar, but we, as someone said earlier on, it's very difficult to convince someone that they've been lied to. And no, your teachers aren't lying. Scientists aren't lying. People working at NASA aren't lying. Yeah, they're just believing. Just like 90% of the population believes stuff. They're all just believers. And they go along with it without questioning it. Yeah? Alright? But it's human nature to lie to yourself, to make excuses. It's what we do. And this is part of the truth-seeking journey, is to realize when your thoughts and emotions are actually your ego will lie to you all the time, every day. And part of this truth-seeking journey is spotting it. It's the start, which many people do not do, is to spot the lie. Yeah, it's just like, politicians, they lie all the time. Yeah, ask a politician a question and they will never give you a direct answer because there is another agenda. They've got something, whether they're talking about the net zero agenda. What's happening with the politicians, for example, with net zero, is that they've created this industry. They are creating jobs, yeah? But it's at the detriment, it's actually at the detriment to the earth, yeah? All right? It's not, but they're telling us some other story about, oh, it's good for the environment. It's not good for the environment. Blocking out the sun is not good for the environment. Heaps of solar panels instead of farmland is not good for the environment. It's not good for us, really, is it? Yeah? Electric cars are not good for the environment. Yeah, necessarily. Are they, when you look at the big picture? But they will lie to you about all the benefits. Yeah? And that because it's just an acceptance that that's human nature. Yet here we are. Yeah? People lie. It's what we do. And so you have to recognize that. Yeah? And you have to recognize that it's a jungle out there. If you walk in the jungle, you know that there are predators and you could become prey. It could be a snake, it could be a scorpion, it could be a tiger. Yeah? They're out there. They got their eyes on you. You might not even know about it. You're innocently walking through, believing everything's fine and dandy. Yeah? But there's something behind the trees waiting to pounce on you. What's its motive? It wants to eat. Yeah? Doesn't care. That's the way things are. There are psychos, there are people in this world that do not care. Yeah? If they're driven by money and materialism, or they're driven by this idea of getting off this rock, yeah? They'll make up stuff. Bernie J says, you have some need to believe everyone is lying to you. That's your... No! It's not. It's not a me issue. The issue is that you can't accept reality as it appears, and you cannot use your discernment to... Again, when I ask for a direct measurement of the curvature, have you given me an answer? No, you're going back on this Bulverism, telling me that I feel a certain way, or it's got to be this. No, I just look at reality. Water doesn't bend around curves, it flows. Yeah? Just a deluxe. 52 countries signed a treaty. Big deal. The government lie. They have to. Pie. Yeah. Music Realm. Hello, mate. Good to see you, my man. Yeah, you know, Brendan, it would be great. I was saying earlier, you know, put out my email. It'd be great if we could get in touch and have a chat. Maybe do a live. That would be nice. One man. Hello there, mate. All right. Thank you very much. Good words, Nick. Thank you. Appreciate that. Yeah. Justin Johnson. Please learn what fallacies are. Globers. Yes. Okay. Constance B, when all their masks fall off, we still err on the... Oops. What was that? Ah. We still err on the side of truth and never defend the indoctrination. Q Ken, why do psychos run the world? Well, that's it. They're the kind of people that, you know, they are attracted to the power. Yeah? Most politicians... That's the thing. You know, we understand as well, because of human nature, that you might get into politics because you want to do something, but actually most of the time people become politicians, and it's the psychos that get into positions of power, isn't it? So they're attracted to that power, whether it's in a religion or a cult or in the office. Yeah, they're always thinking about themselves, and we know that this is human nature. We know that people will be blinded by their own desire to achieve some kind of materialistic wealth or status or identity. This is what it's all about. Yeah? I'm just going back. I saw another question. Hello, Sandro. Right, Bernie J. Oh dear. Bernie J says there's no coherent reason to lie for such a massive ongoing lie involving so many different groups. Flat earthers often say how the earth blows their mind. It would be the same for... Yeah, it does, because it's like... Because you're free. It's like becoming free. It's literally you are... Emancipate yourself from the shackles of the cult. As I was saying in the earlier stream. Yeah, you actually realize that you were in a cult. We were all unwittingly brought up in a cult. Yeah, we realize this. Yeah, there is a reason. There is a reason, because again, we might not know the reasons. You know, you might not know why someone has done something or hurt someone. You might not know the actual reason. Yeah, but we do understand that people, humans, will cling to some kind of belief. And if we're told from a very early age about certain things, this is the way certain things are, you know, you go to any culture, they have certain belief systems which they have been taught since they could couldn't walk and talk. Yeah, it's just the way it is. Culture does that. And they don't know why, they just accept it. And it's very, very difficult. You look at maybe the Japanese culture. If you go against the grain, is very difficult. So we very quickly, when we are kids, we learn to conform. And we actually learn to stop questioning because we get berated. We get, oh, you're stupid, ha 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 ha. Oh, you know, people used to believe the earth was flat. Stupid buggers. Yeah, we know it's a globe because of science. And so again, the question is, what science? Where's the measure of curvature? Where is it? Yeah? It doesn't exist. Yeah. So, you know, for example, if a politician is lying, and we know they do, you look at the elections, whether the UK elections, look at all those promises Starmer made before the elections. Has he kept those promises? No, he went back on them. Yeah, he's completely gone the opposite direction. Yeah. What's his reason? Well, his reason for telling the lies in the first place was to get everyone to vote for him so he could become PM, for his power, not for the good of the people. He said, yes, I'm doing this for the working man. Has he actually done anything for the working man? Has he? Bugger. Yeah? So there's a what his reasons are kind of behind the scenes. There are many reasons, because he's pressured, because he's given up something. He's been compromised. We know that people get compromised. Yeah? It happens that people will do certain favors to get a pay rise, to get a better position. Yeah? And this is the whole thing with the Epstein Island thing, isn't it? You know, all these people that were involved, they get compromised. This is what they did at the Playboy Mansion. Yeah? You get invited, or a Diddy party. Yeah? This is what happens. They get attracted by the promise of power and wealth and luxury and, or whatever, 20 virgins or whatever it might be. Yeah? But then what happens is it's only after the fact, or after they get into office, that they suddenly realise they've got to toe the line. And we know that politicians are just puppets towing the line, Come on, man. Sandro. Justin. Hello. Simon. Okay. Eon Monk. For a glober to come to the truth that they are not living on a spinning space ball, they will have to admit that they are really dumb and naive to have been deceived. That's a really good point. Yeah, you actually have to. This is it. This is a really good point, Eon, because you have to go back and realize. You do have to realize, and that doesn't just apply to the globe. That applies to everything. Yeah, when you have that awakening, as you realize that I'm responsible for my thoughts and beliefs. So here we are. Yeah, here we are. Says, learn how to learn. I don't care about fallacies. Fallacies are a flat earth thing. You see, again, the same old rhetoric, yet here we are. You're just talking absolute shite. It's a load of nonsense. I ask you for a direct measurement of curvature. It's been another hour and you can't provide one. Why can't you, yet here we are, just admit that you do not have a measure of curvature? And actually no one has a measure of curvature. And actually you just believe in the globe. Yeah? And flat earthers exist because of rhetoric like this, yet here we are. Yeah? Because that's all you've got. You claim that other people are stupid. Look at the words on the screen. Look at them. Look at these words right here. Bulverism. That's what you're doing right now. Yeah, Justin Johnson. Good point. Flat earthers are the opposite of indoctrinated. We question what we are told, unlike globe. Exactly. We question it. And we say, where's the curve? Where's the bendy water? Yeah? Where's the spin? Where is it? Yeah? And again, Einstein actually spoke some truth. Einstein said, you can't tell. You can't tell what's moving. So, you could just go along with Einstein. I accept what Einstein said. You can't tell. So it has to be belief. This is all you have to understand. Hi, Pendle. Have I been shadow banned for supporting Kane? Or are you still here? I can see you. That's right, Justin. Flat earthers wouldn't exist if curvature did. Yeah. Hang on, I'm just going back. There was another comment. Yet here we are. I said I won't waste my time. You see, again, why don't you just admit, yet here you are, say, look, I'm sorry, I don't have a measure of curvature. Rather than making the ridiculous comment saying, I won't waste my time. You always do the same thing. Yeah? We've been looking into this. We've spent hours and hours and hours, years, looking into this. Especially when you first hear about flat Earth. If you approach it with an open mind, you're like, okay, how can I verify this for myself? You know, apparently it's supposed to be obvious that we're on a globe. But when you look at it and you try to verify it, there's nothing, absolutely nothing. Apart from assuming that, you know, people go to space and satellites and rockets and moon landings. Yeah? It's all just science fiction, mate. Justin Deluxe, good point. All flat earthers are shadow banned, yes. Yeah, that's another good point as well. You see, yet here we are, and the other guy. You know, why is it genuine flat earth channels get suppressed? Why are we shadow banned? Yeah, why can't we just ask the questions and have the scientific community actually come up with the empirical measurements and the proof? Yeah, because what actually happens is people start going, oh, you've got a point there. There isn't any curvature. Horizons aren't an edge. Yeah. No one's, yeah. That's true, Sandro. You were in denial. We all used to believe that shite. Yep, Justin, we're all flat earthers. Just don't know it. Pendle, yes, I can read it. I can hear it. You can see you. You are not shadow banned. Yet here you do not have measurements. You are lying again. Yet here you are. Here we are. You do not have measurements. All you have is a model. And looking at the stars and the sun. You do not have any measurements of curvature. Again, the globe predicts travel 10 miles in a straight line, you'll get a drop of 60 feet. Where's anyone measured that? I can predict it. I know the globe model. And there are many more people that know it much better than me and can talk about numbers and figures in a much more coherent way than me. Yeah? But fundamentally, there is no measure of curvature. Yeah? So this is it. We know you are lying. So why are you lying? What are you defending? You're defending your belief. Yeah? So, you know, your compatriot asked, well, what's the reason behind the lie? Well, I don't know. Ask, yet here we are, why he's lying about having measurements when he doesn't. If you did, flat earthers wouldn't exist. So yet here we are. Is that a statement or a question? The moon landings are fake. V. Thomas, Trump is meeting with the king shortly. Hope that is with Trump wealth and modest gift from the Duchy of Cornwall. The National Bendy Water Monument to Science will finally be built. Pendle, there is so much pretend rubbish on YouTube, but nobody wants to control it. Effie gets hidden. Yeah, true. Yes, thank you, Sandro. Please whack the likes and subscribe. Show your appreciation. Thank you. Yes. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, Conley, I don't even know who these people are running the show anymore. Just okay, it's good times for all. Oh, you're talking about the other show. Justin Johnson, it's all about fear-mongering, heliocentric model to keep the sheep needing the government to save us. Okay, yet here we are. The moon landings were faked, was a statement. Okay, cool. Okay, so you got that far. All right. So you understand that this was a lie. And it was a massive, massive lie. And you'll find that there are millions of people, millions of scientists that believe that men went to the moon. But then you look at the way they behaved when they got back, and you look at the physical impossibility of actually doing it, especially when technology was around. So they lied. They lied, and they you know, this is the thing. They pulled off this thing and had everyone believing it for whatever reason. Yeah. So there you go. You're halfway there. Yeah, Justin Johnson, when in reality we are safe and sound due to the true. Yeah. Okay, yet here we are, says moon landings faked doesn't mean that everything is a lie. Well, where does it end? Yet here we are. They know they can pull it off. They know that most people will believe it, and they know that people like yourself will defend it. Why couldn't... Basically, they couldn't go because the physics isn't true. We're not on a spinning globe. The mathematicians and their models couldn't actually make it work. Yeah? Conley, I have migrated to people who still share the same views as me. Phuket, Flat Earth, Banjo, Nathan Oakley, Flat Side, Marty Lee's Taboo. Well, thank you, Conley. Okay. Nice to have you here. Yeah? And again, oh, FBV, hi. Good. We had a bit of a talk about you earlier on. I don't know if you saw the last stream, but yeah, good to see you, man. Yeah. Justin Johnson, we know, yet we don't conclude our knowledge from being fallacious. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, Taboo doesn't post as much, but still really good when he does. Yeah, obviously everyone's got their own things to deal with, right? I mean, shit happens. You know, my wife was in hospital having a heart attack a couple of weeks ago. That's pretty bad. Yeah, I had to deal with some stuff there. Flat Earth was the last thing on my mind then. Yeah. Yet here we are, says the landings were fake because we didn't have the technology that they claim to have. Right, okay, so great, cool, you understand that. Yeah. But they also didn't have a model that worked. Yeah. Okay, you just got here, did you, FPV? All right. Yeah. Yeah, I was again still thinking about your model and you know, the whole figure 8 thing, and all that. I was trying to explain it earlier on to someone, you know, about because they were questioning the sun doing a 24-hour. They said, do you believe the 24-hour sun in Antarctica? And I'm like, well, yeah. If you look at FPV's model, he's got a perfect explanation for the sun doing a figure of 8 and changing, you know, going a different direction in the seasons, or going down south, or down. Going south in the you know what I'm saying. Yeah. So it's like, yeah, I was encouraging those guys to look into your model, because it's like, okay, we can't necessarily prove or disprove that the final experiment guys saw or didn't saw a sun, but you know, you've got a model that makes sense of it. Oh, thanks, Music Realm. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, it was like she was having pretty much a heart attack, basically, because she's got thyroid problems and thick blood that was just basically causing. So we had to rush to the emergency ward, and she spent a week in hospital. But fair shout to the Thai doctors, they did good. So, but I did see someone saying some comments about your wife. Have you? I hope you know you're not facing a similar situation. Yeah. Titus, hello. Nick, Breezy, Magai, thank you. All right. Okay. Look all the legends flooding the chat suddenly. Let's go. All right, nice one, Ty. Well, I haven't seen. Yeah, it's been a while that you've been around, Titus. Eon Monk, Katy Perry should be a big red flag for the Globers. You would think that, but they still know it's real because some fake it, but not all the serious astronauts. Titus, so glad to see Nick get all the support. Thank you. Oh, well, that's very kind of you. Thank you, Titus. That's nice of you to say so. Yeah. FPV, yes, a 24-hour sun actually debunks a globe. They haven't thought that out very well. Yeah, I was just saying that, you know, they should have done a Foucault pendulum down on the down on the bottom of their globe, and shown that. Yeah, I wonder what would have happened really. All right, Sandro. Anyone in Australia, can you see the moon as I can see it in the UK right now? Oh, it'd be good to know. I can't remember where it is for me. I had a bit of a daytime moon today. Titus, Nick is probably thinking, why the hell did he call me breezy? Lol, you're just a cool guy. Thanks, man. Yeah, it's difficult to know sometimes what's really being said in the chat, but no, I appreciate it. Thank you. Yeah. So, yet we are here. Do you have a measurement of curvature then to back your belief in the globe? Again, why would you kind of not believe or understand that they lied about the moon? Which, you know, this is the thing. You see, the moon landing was, you know, at the time that took place, it was I was born in '72, so the moon landings, the apparent moon landings, were a bit before then. But, you know, in many ways, there was probably a lot of discourse going on about. There was probably a lot of, you know, how that was the first time that anyone would really prove the globe. Yeah, by seeing the globe Earth from space. So, okay, this picture of the globe is obviously fake. If they faked the moon landing, then they didn't have a picture of the globe Earth. They faked that as well. So no one's ever seen the globe from outer space, have they? Yet here we are. Yeah? Yeah, this is elementary stuff, rudimentary stuff, man. Yeah? To sell the ball. Yes, Chilster. That's right. Titus, totally understand. JJ, everybody still loves you and asks about you every time, at least a couple of times a stream. They always say, where is JJ? Oh, okay. Yeah. All right. Okay, yeah, it's been a journey. All right, Music Realm. Sorry, I'm not keeping up with everything you said there, Music Realm, but yeah, I do hope that you are seeing some light at the end of your tunnel at the moment. Yeah. Okay. All right. Post 175 degrees south here. Are you seeing the moon or not? Math Powerland. No painting. Hey, is that the real Math Powerland? Good to have you in here, mate. Thank you. Yeah. It was a painting, wasn't it? And you proved that. You proved that by showing us it can be done. Yeah. Yeah, Elon Musk, there literally isn't a Tesla floating around in heavens right now. Yeah. Yet here we are. Lying about the moon landings doesn't mean the ISS is fake. Well, what is the ISS? Yeah? Again, you know, you've got to use your discernment. Okay, you can see, just like you can see satellites, you can see the ISS going across the sky. Don't deny that. Yeah, but are there people in it? Why then do they have to obviously have people on wires? Yeah. Why then do they have to have the hairspray? Yeah. Why then can they have a concert between the ISS and Earth without any delay? How do they get all the Christmas hats and the gorilla suits and the instruments up there? Yeah. How'd they do all that? Yeah. Why'd you never see the camera pointing the other direction? Why didn't they set up the ISS as a like the Hubble telescope, so you can see this wondrous space, only looking down at the Earth through a wide-angle lens camera? Yeah, I mean, you know, again, you just got to look at it. You got to look at the ISS and what they show you, and think about what they're not showing you. Just like the moon land, they fake the moon landings. So there's whatever they're doing with the ISS, they're faking parts of it. Yeah. So I don't deny that you've seen the ISS at specific intervals that match it. Okay, fine. Don't deny that. Again, we see the sun do what it's supposed to do as predicted. We see the moon do what it's supposed to do as predicted. Yeah. People can predict the weather. Yeah. People can predict how long it will take a plane to fly from A to B. Doesn't mean the Earth is a globe. Yeah. They just tell you that it's falling around the Earth just fast enough to keep going. in this apparent vacuum of space, which is impossible. Yeah, again, a vacuum next to a pressurized system cannot happen without a barrier. Yeah, so you just got to apply critical thinking. Yeah, again, good point, Music Realm. How can you see an object 250 miles away? That's impossible. Just absolutely absurd. Right. Yeah, and that was it. Again, Matt Powerland was involved with NASA. He was one of the guys that was introducing us to all of this, and giving us a look behind the scenes. Someone who was commissioned to do artwork. So again, why would they have to create artwork if they already had images of the Earth? Yeah, why do they need artists' impressions? Yeah, so what Math did was great. Photo or painting. Use your discernment. Can you tell? Well, Math's art is so fantastic that you can't tell. But then again, what pictures? What have we got to base it on? All we've got are other people's artistic impressions of the Earth, a globe Earth. Yeah, that's right. FPV, aviation obliterates the globe. Yeah. Okay. Exactly, Pendle. One could save a lot of fuel flying against rotation. Yeah. Yeah, mass attracting mass, Justin Johnson. Yeah, doesn't really work. Can't be proven. Yeah, things fall to Earth. Yeah. Yes, again, yet here we are. Don't deny it. Don't deny that you can see the ISS. Again, I've seen all sorts of lights in the sky that I cannot explain as well. I've seen a white light go silently across the sky. It wasn't the ISS because it was much, much lower. It wasn't an aircraft. It was going quite fast. I have no idea what it was. I watched it. I watched it go all that. I was at the market, the fresh market, yeah? I just watched this bright white light go I was waiting for the sound. There was no sound. No idea what it is. I've seen meteorites and what have you, different colours, whites and reds and greens and stuff, yeah? I've seen clusters of lights move across the sky, yeah? Don't know what they are. They're there, I saw them. Doesn't prove anything. Okay. Oh, there's some really lovely stuff going on in the chat there. It's nice to see everyone having a good chat there. So, flat fact, NASA was using VRML in the 90s, virtual reality modeling language. Really? Okay. Yeah, this is it. When you look at like Cassini or something like that, all any of these people were doing was just making models, computer models. Yeah, they were just modeling it. And okay, there's a mathematical proof in there. If you presuppose this and gravity and that and distances, you can make a mathematical model and you can predict what might or might not work. But that's all they were doing with the Cassini mission. If you go and have a look at how that was done, you got people in the UK and then people in the US, and they're communicating in a very obscure way. Nothing was done directly. So, this is a good example of a whole bunch of people working on a space project that had absolutely no proof whatsoever that what they were doing was actually happening. They were just making models, and they were saying, okay, let's go with this model. And then they were saying, all right, we'll send this signal to Cassini. And then they might get some pictures back that are kind of fabricated from signals that came from where? Millions of miles away? Come on. Yeah. Yeah. Starlink drones, good point. Yeah. QKen. UFO is a big hoax, a military fraud it is. No UFO out there. If there is, it's man-made. Yeah. There's who knows. Sometimes I think of it as like, if you were a fish in the water looking up, you might see lights going across. but you wouldn't know what they are. You wouldn't have any idea of what's actually happening above the surface. Yeah. That's right, Truth Earth Knowledge. That's a good one. Planet Veritas channel proved NASA fake. Hubble. Yeah, I love that. That was so good because he got in touch with the manager. You've got this recorded phone call. Even the manager of Hubble can't say where Hubble is. Yeah. Eon Monk, there's a NASA video of them pretending to be in a rocket on its way to outer space while Guy pops out of the background for a moment. Like Oppie. Yeah. Right, FPVs saying they go west, return east, and start again. It's quite simple. Yeah. Titus, the day that Elon Musk rocket thing fell into the sky with all the little lights all around, so I actually have a recording of on my phone. You were okay? Yeah. Again, this is it. You know, it's just like, well, yeah, things go up in the sky. Doesn't prove anything. It's really a case of using discernment. Just like, you know, okay, if that guy, yet we are here. Yeah, or yet there we are, whatever your handle is, you agree that the moon landings were fake. So what happened to the rocket? They sent a rocket up. I think a lot of people saw that rocket go up, but as you know, it doesn't prove that they went to the moon. It doesn't prove that they went around the Earth and did a slingshot to the moon, does it? Yeah, you just saw a rocket go up and off into the distance, out of sight, out of mind. Yeah, one man. What I look at the stars, I think about turning around in a cinema to look at the projector, saying, yeah. Titus, I honestly believe nobody is going to volunteer to put themselves in a rocket and go up anywhere. It's such a slim chance of survival. Yeah. Yeah, Rip Mad Mike as well. Yeah, I mean, that was a bit of a death wish, wasn't it? Yeah. True Earth Knowledge. Jaron, back in the day before he became a shill, found scuba divers in the old NASA archive, spacewalks. Yeah, this is it. Yeah, that's right. Seems to have forgotten that. Yeah, Titus, indeed it was, Brother Nick. I love this truth and the real lovers of truth. Yeah, thank you. Okay, rethink. I wouldn't say that about your. Oops, what's that? I wouldn't say that about UFOs. This place we call Earth is much more intriguing place than even the currently taught cosmology. UFO could be something even more impressive. Yeah, true. I mean, yeah, that's right. I mean, who knows what's really going on there? Rethink. Yeah, I mean, we just call it unidentified flying object, and there are many that we don't know. And yet here we are, says the website predicted when to see the. Oh gosh, yes, I know. Yeah, and you know, like, yeah, again, not denying that, not denying it. Yeah, but it can still just as easily be going around and around above the Earth in a vortex. You know, we can create these vortexes, right? You can stir a cup of coffee. Yeah, you can have a whirlpool in the sea where currents collide. Yeah, these are all physical phenomena that we could explain, but we don't necessarily know when we're talking about what's going up on in space. Yeah, we know that they put the Echo satellite up, the balloon Echo 1, they call it a satellite. Yeah, but it's just a balloon going around and around in the winds. Yeah, so nobody denies these predictions. Yeah, but do not confuse that with a globe model. Again, you know, the model is built on the predictions. It's not that the globe model predicts. Yeah, we all know how to predict this, you know, the sunrise and sunset just by looking at it. It doesn't tell us what the Earth is actually doing, and it doesn't tell us anything about the physics either. Jet stream, yeah, it's just a jet stream. Okay. Well, you say at 17,500 miles per hour in a very specific direction. It could be that fast, but you could be led to believe that, depending on how high it actually is. Yeah. And again, there's so many things. You know, if 17,500 miles an hour, do you think you could really see it? Do you really think, you know, if it was going that fast, do you think you'd actually be able to capture it? And as Music Realm said, it's 250 miles up, apparently. Yeah? It's faster than a bullet. You ever seen a bullet flying past you? Still doesn't prove that the Earth is a sphere. Again, yet here we are. I ask for a direct measurement of curvature. You said you have one. You said you have a direct measurement of curvature, but can't be bothered. But yet here you are, half an hour later, going on about the ISS. So in that time, you could have dug up your measurement of curvature. And you could have turned me into a globie. Instead, you're pointing at the sky, like all the other globies. Because you do not have a measurement of curvature. And you do not have the balls to admit that you don't have one. You have to lie and say, I've got a measure of curvature, when you don't. So why should I, but now you've already lied. Why the hell should I believe that you have seen the ISS? I think you're telling porkies. Because you've already shown that you lied. So why should I believe you again? Yeah? Now you're just saying stuff that you expect me to believe. When you've already lied. You've proven yourself to be a liar, defending your belief. And calling me this, that and the other. Or other flat earthers things. Yeah? Telling us you can't be bothered to go and find the fundamental proof for your belief. Yeah, Eon. Globers believe there is a place between the earth and seas and the sun with zero gravity. That's a special belief. Yeah, again, it's just belief. A lot of smoke and mirrors, 9/11. Are people totally mad? Are they blind? Definitely. What's the problem with the modern human? Yeah, blinded by belief, that's for sure. Yeah, okay. Yes, I'm calling you a liar because you have lied. You said you have a measurement of curvature when you don't. You lied. You're welcome to prove me wrong, and I'll admit that I mistakenly called you a liar if you can come up with a measurement of curvature or a drop. Give me that measurement. 10 miles, 60 foot drop. Let's see your measurement. Where is it? Huh? Yes, I know. You can see the ISS for yourself. But you've already lied, and you're pointing at the sky. You're distracting. You're using bulverism. You're just a shining example of exactly what this stream is all about. Try looking for a measurement of curvature. Yet here we are. Produce your curvature. Show us the bendy water. Show us someone flying all around the globe Earth. Come on. One of these fundamental... Stop pointing at the sky, making assumptions. You already know that they lied about the globe. I mean the moon. Yeah? So there's a lie going on with the ISS. Yeah? People cannot live in a tin can for years at a time. True Earth knowledge. I saw a light at 11:30 p.m., 4 hours after dusk, and supposedly impossible to see according to NASA. But there it was, flying above the flat Earth from horizon to horizon. Yeah. Yep, FPV, aircraft prove a level plane. No globe proofs up there either, yeah. Conley, yet here we are, everyone is entitled to their own opinion. Yeah, opinions are fine. I'm open to discussion. But let's just be fucking honest. Let's be honest about what we can or cannot prove. Let's be honest about what we do have or do not have in terms of direct measurements. Yeah? That's right, FPV. Any pitch data that shows aircraft making adjustments for this curvature, you can't seem to find. Right. Rethink says being able to see... Oops, hang on. Being able to see an object in the sky doesn't validate what the object is. Or are you one of the people that can clearly see blatant NASA fakery yet still defend it? Come on, bro. Critically think. Yes, that's right. Well said. Yet here we are. Says, you sure are quick to call people liars when you do not have evidence. I have evidence of it. Half an hour ago, you told me that you have a measurement of curvature, but you can't be bothered to bring it up. Yet here you are, still bothering to try and make a point by pointing at the sky? You've told me that you have a measurement of curvature. Where is it? Prove me wrong. I'll admit that I called you a liar mistakenly. If you can come up with your measurement of curvature. Or you can prove to me that you actually are truthful by saying, sorry, Nick, I lied. I do not have a measurement of curvature. Do that and I'll rescind my accusation about you. You started it, not me. So yeah, we can see clear as day when people lie. That's what we got good at. That's what truth seekers are good at. So again, quit your bulverism. Here we are then, saying, oh, let's come up with the science. Stop attacking the man. Come up with the science. Come up with the physical measurements, the empirical measurements. Come up with the proof. Yeah, that's all we ask. That's all we've been asking for. Oh. See, again, you're just making excuses. So you do not have a measurement of curvature. Yet here we are. Do you? Come on, tell the truth. Tell the truth. You do not have a measurement of curvature. You have a calculation. You have a prediction based on a model. You do not have a measurement. Yeah? Now even, Duffy, Wolfie, Critical Think, a bunch of other people have all said, they've already said, they cannot measure curvature. And then they've all said in the next breath that, oh, you're just too stupid to understand. Yeah? And I say, okay, how do you measure the difference between true horizontal and curved level? True level, horizontal level, and curved level. Nobody can come up with it. Nobody can tell me. Yeah? If one of you could, we'd all go back to being globies. Yeah? Yes, rethink. Intellectual honesty is something that has to be earned. See. Yeah. I would believe it, but what I would do, yet here we are, is if you told me how to measure curvature, I would go and try it myself. That's what flat earthers do. That's what truth seekers do. They've taken all these experiments and they've said, okay, the globe predicts this. The globe predicts curvature, 8 inches per mile squared. The globe predicts that there's a radius, yeah? The globe predicts that we can only see so far and we should see things get cut off. But in reality, when we go and test reality, those claims by the globies fall apart. And it proves that they are lying. When you can see across a distance that we shouldn't be able to see according to the globe maths and the globe predictions, that proves you all wrong. Reality proves you wrong. When we see water not flowing down curves, and when we do not see bendy water at the distance that it should occur, then that proves that people have just been believing stuff. And so yes, by default, they've been lying. Free your mind, hello. Brenda. Why do I keep doing what? Who are you talking to, Brenda? Oh, they've called in the reinforces, or have they? All right, well, come on in. Come on in. Yeah, but the thing is, it's getting late. It's been a couple of hours now. What I would love to do is I would happily talk to these guys, and I will push you on the same points. Yeah, if one of you Globers has got the balls to actually have a chat on my channel where you don't control the narrative, yeah. Reality is all I need, Brenda. Yeah. I don't have evidence. I have proof. I have proof that water flows down curves. That's it. Water flows down curves. You're going to deny that? All of you have got to deny that water flows down curves, because according to your model, water doesn't flow down curves. Yeah? That's right, V. Thomas. No evidence, just proof. That's it. Yeah. FPV tumbleweeds prove rotation is about all they have. Yeah. All right. Yeah. Well, this is it. I mean, you see, the Globies would do well to compromise. If they just said, Brenda debates, I'll debate Phuket anytime. Well, I'll tell you what, Brenda, why don't you just provide what I've asked for, a measurement of curvature. Tell us how you measure the difference between horizontal level and curved level. Tell us. Just tell us in the chat. One sentence will do. And if you can't do it, if you start pointing at the sky or talking about the globe predicts, yeah, the globe predicts curvature. Reality doesn't have any curvature. If you've got an empirical measurement of curvature, not an observation and an interpretation, not pointing at the sky and talking about the ISS or the sun or the moon, yeah, and lunar eclipses and things like that, if you've got a measurement of just 10 miles across a distance with a 60-foot drop, go for it. Anything else is irrelevant rhetoric. Yeah? I'm not interested in debates. I'm interested in just people reaching a truth. And if you could compromise, if you could just say, hey, yeah, I don't have a measurement. Yeah? So I can't prove it. I'd be happy with that. No debate. Yeah? I wouldn't say it proves flat Earth. I would just say, okay, thanks for being honest. Yeah? Try that. Just try being honest. Oh, yet here we are. If you understood space, you'd understand how water... Space is fake. You can't have the space that they claim a vacuum, right? Doesn't exist. Can't exist. Based on real-world physics. Yeah? So we understand that space is supposed to be a vacuum and that gravity is supposed to hold the air onto the Earth. But that doesn't make sense because actually in reality gas just goes out and will fill the void regardless of any assumptions about gravity. Physically, you cannot demonstrate it. Yeah? So we can all talk till we're blue in the face about what space is, but again, you've jumped away from the Earth, you've jumped out of the reference frame, you jumped into this imaginary world when I asked for a measurement of curvature on the surface of the Earth. A measurement showing the difference between a horizontal level and curved level. And not one of you can actually come up with A, a method, or B, a measurement. So quit your ad hominem, quit your bulverism. Come at me with some intellectual honesty. Yes, Phuket space can exist in Narnia. That's right, true. Yeah, it is Narnia, isn't it? Conley, Taboo Conspiracy Mirror Damati leads video on Patricia, Paul and Robertson. Axion Cryptic YouTube podcast about violating SEC laws and being blackmailed into exiting it. Okay, all right, well, okay, yeah, well, again, I really, okay, I can understand that, but yeah, when things get cryptic, it's like, I can never just say it, huh? Yet here we are. You don't need gravity for water to stick to the Earth. You need a measure of curvature to believe the Earth is a globe. You need bendy water. You need to demonstrate water not flowing down a curve. Now you can go anywhere in reality and you will see water flowing down curves. So can you discern the difference between horizontal level and curved level? I would say that you can't. And if you were saying you could, you'd be lying, because you wouldn't be able to actually come up with a method or a practical empirical measurement of such a phenomena. Could you? Yeah, rethink. The electric universe is a much more likely reality than the nonsense. Yeah. And again, it's funny, isn't it? Because even if you think about the electric universe in terms of the heliocentric solar system, if you look at people, they will argue vehemently about that. You know, there are the Newtonian heliocentrists that will not hear of an electric universe, even though you've got things like the Northern Lights and all these other things, even though you've got electromagnetism in the air, it can be measured, right? But they will deny the electric universe, yeah? It's nuts, yeah? It's all just about beliefs, yeah? Exactly, V. Thomas. How many years have we been asking for a direct mythology measure from the burdened claimant? Oh, I like the way you put that. It's very good. The burdened claimant. Yeah. QChen, gravity does not exist. I'm a pilot for 30. Really? Okay. Flatheads are right about many. Oh, well, thank you. Okay, QChen. That's interesting. I mean, it'd be interesting, QChen. How would you do it? How would you actually try and measure curvature as a pilot? Is there any way that you think it could be done? That would be interesting. No, yet here we are. You see, again, you're just doing the whole Bolverism thing. There you are, claiming that I expect you to come up with a tape measure. People, there are many, many ways that you can measure things, and especially if, talking about space travel, you talk about the accuracy of satellites and things like that, but no one can come up with a again. Where did it come from? Where did this belief come from? It should be founded on a measure of curvature in the first place. The whole entire globe belief should only have started with curvature measured on the surface of the earth, not sticks and shadows, not looking at the sun and stars and moons and lunar eclipses and things like that. A fundamental measurement of curvature. So yeah, you obviously cannot come up. I've suggested many ways of doing it, and it could be done with modern technology. Yeah, but the globies with all their technology, the pilots with all their equipment, their $1 million planes, have to admit that they cannot measure curvature. Yeah. The fact is that water flows. All you need is, it doesn't have to be 10 kilometers, it could be 3. Yeah. God's sake. Yeah. Again, all you're doing is turning it around with your Bolverism. Yeah. You're not addressing the point. This is what the whole Bolverism thing. You refuse to address the point and claim that I'm stupid to ask for a measure of curvature. Well, you're stupid to believe that the Earth is a globe without a measure of curvature in the first place. See, you just wasted. It's been an hour now. You could have come up with your measure of curvature, but you're still making excuses. So you're lying. Now you're trying to cover up your lies. Yet here we are. Yeah, you said you have a measure of curvature, but you're still here an hour later faffing about with your bullshit, trying to turn it back on me. When I can tell you that water doesn't bend around curves. It flows. I can look at reality. Yeah? There you go. Water. I can prove it right here and now. Water does its thing everywhere. Always the same. It flows. Yeah? Reality. I've got reality right here. Yeah? Well, the thing is, yet here we are. You say, what measurement procedure would you accept? Why did you accept that the globe the Earth is a globe without a measurement? You said you have a measurement. What did you accept? There's you saying, you told me in this chat. Anyone can scroll back and have a look. You said, I have a measurement of curvature, but I can't be bothered to share it with you. What was it? What did you do? Where did you get your measurement from? Oh, Constance, thank you. Yeah. And I've covered this in other videos, yeah? Pilots know how to fly straight. Yeah? And you don't have to make excuses about altimeters and air pressure and things like that. A pilot can fly. In fact, Wolfie's admitted in the past, Wolfie the pilot, yeah? He said he could do it either way. He could make it appear, yeah? All right? A pilot, and if a pilot refuses to discern between horizontal level and curved level and refuses to demonstrate the difference, they're lying as well. Yeah? Because a 60-foot drop over 10 miles is a big bloody difference. That's the difference between life and death. Yeah? You need to know where you are in relation to the Earth. Yeah? And as people like Level Earth Observer have pointed out many times, yeah, you know, whether you're flying a blackbird at 1,000 miles an hour or whatever it is, yeah, it would be impossible. You'd have to follow the curve. Yeah. Exactly. Good question, FPV. What convinced you that it's a globe? Right? No, yet here we are. The question is, where's the curve? Where's the measure of curvature that you believe in? Where's your empirical measurement? You told me you have a measure of curvature. That's the question. It's not for me. It's for you. It's for anyone that believes in the globe. Where did you get your belief from? Just like FPV said. Where did it come from? Where's your belief come from? Pictures, paintings, concepts, plastic globes. Didn't come from any measurements. It came from presupposed models. Yeah. Thomas. Hello, Thomas F.E. Gron. The few real ball earth defenders that aren't paid agents will rather soon look exactly as foolish as they actually are. Yeah. There was a globe in the classroom, yeah. Yeah, it is sad. I mean, constant speed, that's a good point. That's why we do it. And it's not about proving a point. It's not about proving a model. It's just about it's just about saying it's okay. It's okay to admit that you believed something that wasn't true. We all did. We all went through it, and we all felt terrible. We all felt awful. Yeah? And we all realized that, oh man, yeah, it was not our fault. No one's going to blame you. Yeah? No one's going to say, see, I told you. It's not like that. That's the whole thing. Yeah, it's all about just going, you know, just accepting things for what they are, accepting that people lie and you were fooled by it. Yeah, for whatever reasons that might be. Q-Ken, people live in an extended fake reality. Too many things to fake today. Fake money, science, jobs. Yeah, this is it. Yeah, I mean, like I was saying, yeah, they're making up these fake jobs with you know, the whole kind of net zero thing. Yeah, the politicians are doing what they do, but they're making jobs. They're creating an economy. They're creating jobs. They're actually conjuring this up out of free air, out of, you know what I'm saying, out of thin air. Yeah, that's right, FPV. Famous words, we believe the reality in which we had been presented. Constance B, we felt duped, but we humbled ourselves and built on the... That's right, that's right. You have to eat humble pie. And that's whether it doesn't matter if you're just talking about the globe or anything. It's just about, you know, if you go through life, if you're seeking truth, you have to eat humble pie. And you have to realize, okay, I believed something. I believed my own ego. I placed value on this identity, this fakeness, yeah, the money, whatever it, the materialism, whatever it is, yeah. Yeah, V. Thomas. Speak for yourself. Some of us were homeschooled on the Peace Convo. Cool, man. Yeah, I homeschool my kids. And I tell you what, my daughter's doing GCSEs now. One of my daughters. And she's doing okay. And she's just self-studied. You know, spends a few minutes a day. Not distracted by the classroom stuff. And she's seeing people go in there. She's going into this international school where they're holding the GCSEs. We've had to pay for it because it's an international school and we're not in the UK, yeah. But she's coping with her GCSEs fine, yeah, from home study, yeah. And that's the thing. You spend hours in a classroom, and how much learning do you actually do? Not a lot. Yeah, you're worried about what your fashion, your mates, and all that stuff. Oh, thanks, Constance. Yeah, it's great. Yeah. I mean, again, you know, you could say that, well, you don't need the education, but it's good to push yourself through. It's good to achieve something, right? It's going to be a sense of achievement, right? So we know that. We know that life is tough, and sometimes you've got to do things you don't like to get to a point that you want to be, right? So, yeah, you know, and I've also told her, it's like, okay, I you know, like, just kind of go along with the science, you know, whether you agree with it or not doesn't really matter. Just tell them what they want to hear, you know, But at the same time, keep in your mind that some of these things they say about atoms and this and that are just theories, but you've just got to be able to repeat what they've told you. Yeah. So Rethink Inc. These same people over and over return to all channels they claim are occult or ignorant. Why? I've never gone to heliocentric channels repeatedly to argue. Yeah, because you just, that's the thing. You can't ask them. You can't have a serious. I would love a discussion. I would love to have, it doesn't have to be a debate, just a discussion where we're just honest with each other and we say, I don't know what the sun is. I don't know what it's doing. I don't know what's beyond the place. I don't know the rest. I don't know whether the earth has an ice wall or not. I don't know. Yeah. Well, thank you very much, Tony Beer. Hey Nick, love to you and your family. Thank you very much. Yeah. That's right, Constance. It builds character and adds discernment. Yeah. Yeah, Chilster, they're on task like a military operation. Yeah, that's right. They love time wasting. That's the thing, and that's what you get with a lot of these Globers is they just want to waste your time and go, and it's funny because you see the comments that they come up with, and it's like, oh, they just want to try and win an argument by being deceptive. And it's like, that's not the point. It's not about arguing. It's not about proving a point. It's just about coming to that honest realization. And then we can move forward, yeah? Because, beyond flat Earth, there's so much more to life. It's like getting in touch with the garden. I love working in the garden now. It's wonderful. You get a seed and you plant it, and then you've got, hundreds or thousands of more seeds. And it's like, wow, everything's free. The water's free. The food is free. You just got to do a bit of work. Yeah? And that's it. You realize that all this other stuff, fast cars and stuff, is just whatever. Yeah. There's some great things that scientists have done. There's some great advancements they've made, but ultimately we got to eat, we got to have shelter, and we got to stop ourselves getting sick. Yeah. Anyway, listen, it's been a really long one, and I really appreciate you all coming in. And thank you so much for, participating in the chat. And again, for the Globers that came in, I've got nothing against you. I'd love to have a proper discussion, but I will call you a liar if you say to me, I've got a measure of curvature, and then you make excuses when I ask for it. That just shows that you're lying. Yeah. So again, I'm happy to go back on that and retract my accusation. But so far, you've just proven that, it's all we ever get is Bolverism. Yeah. So new word for me today, that was. And so hopefully that's a one that you can take away as well. QChen, cloud seeding going to be a big problem for some farmers. Yeah, that's tough, man. Yeah. Thank you, Chilster. That's very kind of you. Yes, she's doing a lot better, but I should pay her some attention. It's 3 o'clock in the morning now. This has been going on far too long, but it's been great. Really appreciate you all coming in. So, yeah, thanks. Okay, I'm going to wrap it up now. Yeah, I really am. Okay, take care, everyone. Thank you very much, and we'll speak very soon. Okay, thank you. Cheers.